स्वागतम् अद्य बुधवासरः दिनाङ्कः त्रयोविंशः दिनाङ्कः 23rd of November Wednesday व्याकरणं समासप्रकरणं रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्मि अहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने श्रीराम नाम वरानन उन्नम इति। अथ श्री माहेश्वर सूत्राणि अ इ उन् रुल् ऋक् ए ओङ् ऐ औच् हयवरट् लण् ङ म ङ न नं झबङ् घडदश जबगडदश खफ छठ स छठ सव कपैश श सर हल् इति माहेश्वर सूत्राणि। Prashnottaraani. So we look at the homework question answers. The one point came up last time. Let me just make that something that I read up. We are looking at this Sutram 2228 Sahayukte Pradhane, and that was here it is Sahayukte Pradhane, like Saputraha Agataha and so on. So that was okay, let me just search for that. That's number 2228. Number 2228 Sahayukte Pradhane. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's another sutram. Tena Sahiti Tulya Yoge. Tena Sahiti Tulya Yoge. Sahayukte Pradhane is a different sutram. That is a Tritya Vibhakti Vidhayaka sutram. So Sahayukte Pradhane, that is a different sutram. That is not this one. That is which just 2319. That by which the Tritiya is prescribed is Sahayukte Pradhane. But this one is Tena Saheti Tulya Yoge. This is for Bahuvri Kampa. Anyway, what happened was that at the end of that, Bhattoji says that Siddhanta Kaumadi said that Tulya Yoga Vachanam Prayikam Sakarmakaha Sakarmana Saha Vartamano Dhatuhu Sakarmakaha. So there is no, see, we say Sahayukte Pradhane, the Vyakhyanam for that was, it says that Tulya Yoge Vartamanam Saha Ityeta Trityantena Vasamasyate. So they have to participate in some action together, in something, in some kriya. But here, like the example given was Putrena Saha Saputraha Saputrova Pita Agataha. But when you say, this dhatu is sakarmaka dhatu, it's not like the dhatu and the karma are, really have this, satisfy this condition of tulya yoga. This tulya yoga is not really satisfied. They're not participating together in something. So then what do we do? They says that this tulya yoga vachanam prayikam. Prayikam inna sarvatra. So which is not everywhere, it doesn't apply. It is, sometimes they may just be together. There might not be tulya yoga, may not be there. And the example given is sakarmakaha. Then I was started thinking that in sakarmakaha, looks like we have the pratyaya cup at the end. Pratyaya cup. Now pratyaya cup, we looked at those set of rules, which were the last 10 rules in this angasya adhikaraha, in the samasanta adhikaraha, the dhitaha adhikaraha. At the end of 5.4, starting from 5.4.151, Prabhutivya cup and so on. And then Sheshad Vibhasha was the rule, was the pivotal rule. We say that any Sheshad, that the cup can come optionally after any Bahuvri compound, which has two conditions satisfied. One is that there should be no other Samasanta Pratyaya prescribed after Bahuvrihi. That's why it says Sheshad. Not only that, but that Sheshad also refers to the Adhikaraha of Sheshe Bahuvrihi. And basically it means that Bahuvrihi should have been prescribed only by this one sutram, Anekamanya Padarthe. So one more time, Sheshad Vibhasha, 5.4.154. And we have seen that here in the class. We already saw that. Let me go back to that. 5.4.154 is sutram. This is a samas ant. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Samasanta pratyaya 5. And this one I'm going to change now. I'm going to remove that for the time being, because last time in the class I thought we could justify this by uraf praprityabhyah kap. The problem with that is that if you do, anyway, let's go to that. Let's go to 54154 and see what the problem is. The problem is that in 54154 we said that this bahuvri which takes the cup should be in the shesha adhikara, I mean in the that shesho bahuvrihi adhikaraha. Okay, let me see. What am I doing wrong here? 54154. Okay, give me 1 second here. 54154, 54154, 54. Okay, Sheshad Vibhasha 54154, and that we should have in this document already. 54154, right? 54154. Okay, so here Sheshad Vibhasha Anukta Samasantat. There should be no other samasanta pratyaya coming after this compound. Then Shesha Adhikarasthat. It should be the Shesha Adhikara, Shesho Bahuvrihi, which basically means this 224. And then says that which Anekamanya Padarthe. So the Bahuvri compound should have been prescribed by the Sutram Anekamanya Padarthe, no other Sutram, to qualify for Sheshad Vibhasha. And Kap Vasyat, Kap is optionally. In fact, there Bhattoji says that, say Sheshaditikyam, I think he says down there somewhere. Okay, he says Shesha Adhikarasthatkyam. Why is it said that this Bahuvri compound should be prescribed, should be coming from this Adhikar of Shesho Bahuvrihi? Because he says Saputraha, which is by this sutram, which is 228, Tena Sahiri Tulya Yoge, this will not take the Kap Pratyaya by Sheshad Vibhasha, because this Bahuvri compound, Saputraha, was not formed by 224 Nekamanya Padarthe. So we looked at that, and then we said, but then wait a minute, then what about Sakarmakaha? Sakarmakaha, which is the form which we just saw, which has taken some kind of a ka pratyaya, definitely looks like a kap pratyaya because it's a bahuvri compound. In fact, when I checked the Shabdakalpa Drumaha, which is a very nice lexicon of most Sanskrit words with the etymology, it does say kap over there, I believe. It just said that. So now I was thinking, how can we justify the kap? I thought maybe we can somehow fit it under this sutram, which is the uraf praprityabhyah kap. Maybe extend that gana by any chance. But if you do that, then that is Nityam Kap. That Kap, see, the Sheshad Vibhasha is optional, 54154. But these three, 1, 2, 3 rows, they prescribe Kap Nityam, necessarily Kap. So that would be one problem. And not only when I looked at the Vyakhyanam of that Sutram 54150, I did not really find any indication there that we might be able to fit this kind of word like Sakarma in that, or Sakarman Pratipadikam in that Uraf Praprityabhyah, Uraf Prapriti Ganaha. I couldn't really get a good feeling for that, because if you look at that Gana, it doesn't say anything, it just Uras, Sarpis and so on, so only these words. So then I was thinking, what else could it be? And luckily, as usual, Nagesha is one of the very few ones who at least gives, I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, that there's no more clarification in the Kaumudi or in the main commentary. Tattabodhi doesn't say anything, because again, one more time, so back to back we have this assertion that a compound like Saputra will not take the cup by this Sutram Sheshad Vibhasha Saputraha. While on the other hand, it says that we do have a word like Sakarmakaha we do have, which has taken some kind of curse. So how do we justify these two? And then I looked up Nagesha, and what he says is that, and he's the only one that I could find, says that, look at today's classes, and he says that Swarthe Kaha. So now he's saying this is not the Kap Pratyaya at all. which was I guess innovative way to justify this. But it's a bit sneaky. But doesn't seem to be no other justification for it. They say that it's a swarthe kaha. So this is just a kan pratyaya which has been added. I think it is kan. It is added swarthe. In the next chapter of this Antoine, we'll see some tadita pratyas in more detail. Maybe we'll look at this one. But so this saying that this pratyaya is not a kap pratyaya at all, which is sakarmakaha, salomakaha. So then we have to just say this is swarthe kaha, jinageshaha. If I said udaharaneshu swarthikaha kaha. So this example which was given as a counter example in this, as I said, going back here again, this document became a very big document. Hard to move up and down. Okay. Tulya yoga vachanam prayikam sakarmakaha. In this example, this ka is apparently not the kap pratyaya at all, even though this is a Bahuvari compound. And we said that at the end of a Bahuvari compound, when we see this ka pratyaya at the end, most likely going to be kap, but this is not the kap pratyaya apparently. It cannot be, because I just repeated many times today, is that the sheshad implies that the Bahuvrihi should be formed by aneka manya padarthe. And this one is not formed by the sutra. This is formed by tena sahiti tulya yoga. So then Nagesha says that, see, Nagesha is one of the few people who, really tackles these issues very well. This is what I'm talking about, is the commentary called Bruhat Shabdendu Shekhara. Shabdendu Shekhara is in two varieties, the Laghu and the Bruhat, and they are commentary to the Siddhanta Kaumudi. Very nice, lot of good points in there. But there is a lot of overlap between this and Tattva Bodhini, but still there are a lot of good points here. And I was hoping that he would help us out here, and sure enough he has. He says that this is Swarthe Pratyahakan, because there seems to be no other way to justify it. Now the question comes is that, yes,
what is the format? What is the format of the Bruhat Shabdendu Shekhara? Is it like a commentary on every one of the, on Siddhanta Kaumudi? Or
yes,
is it,
Siddhanta Kaumudi. Siddhanta Kaumudi. So both Laghu and Bruhat are commentary on Siddhanta Kaumudi, just like Tattva Bodhini is a little bit. So,
okay.
I mean, Laghu is probably what people study the most, but this is a very nice one, which is a lot of good points. I mean, there are some Parthabhedas and things like that, but yes, this is a commentary Siddhanta Kaumudi. So Siddhanta Kaumudi should be studied with Tattva Bodhini and at least Laghu Shabdendu Shekhara, these two. That is really becoming like the, Mula Grantha Vyakaranam. Because Nagesha is the last really authority on Vyakaranam, so to speak. Because after him, yes.
And the paribhasha that are there, the 99 or 100 paribhasha.
Yeah, that's another Paribhasha Indu Shekhara.
Is that a different book, or is that also part of the?
That's a different book. That's also by Nagesha. That's the Paribhasha Indu Shekhara, also by Nagesha. See, these three books by Nagesha. One is the Shabdendu Shekhara, Laghu and Bruhat, the commentary on Siddhanta Kaumudi. Second thing is that Paribhasha Indu Shekhara, which is again, which is a very gray area. See, Nagesha is the one who tackles his head on, That's the commentary on those paribhashas, about 100 odd of them. And then Nagesha has the Udyotaha on the commentary of Kayyataha and Mahabhashyam. So if you give me 1 second, I'll just pull out the book for you. 1 second. The Vyakarana Mahabhashyam of Patanjali, that has, of course, Kayyata's Pradipa, which is standard, because, Mahabhashyam and the Pradipa are almost like become synonymous now. But on that, Nagesha has the Udyota. So that's the third work of Nagesha in Vyakaranam that we should keep at hand. So these are three. So Shabdendu Shekhara on Siddhanta Kaumudi, then Paribhasha Shekhara on the Paribhashas, and the Udyota on the Kayyata's commentary on the Mahabhashyam.
So Udyota is the name of the commentary?
Yeah, Udyota. So that is the, so that's his work, Udyota. In fact, Nagesha Bhatta Vrishataha Bhashya Pradipodhyataha Udyotaha. It says Bhashya Pradipodyotaha Udyotaha, because it, I guess, highlights the. See, first you have the Bhashya, then you have the Pradip, which will light the Mahabhashyam. Then to light the Pradip also you have this one. So Bhashya Pradipodyotaha. So it's a very nice work. So these are these three. Apparently, according to Abhyankar, I think Nagesha wrote 12 of these. I don't know how they, I mean, just to write a commentary on Mahabharata will take, I don't know how many lifetimes, but let me just quickly read that to you from, if you look at Abhyankar's dictionary, he says that Nagesha, Nagesha, one of the eighth who lived in Banaras, he wrote many mastery commentaries known by the words. So Shekhar and Udyota is the term that he used for his commentaries. Total list of his small and big words will be over 100 works he wrote.
Wow.
Yeah, over 100. And so anyway, so that is this. But these three are the ones that are useful for us, which is the Shabdendu Shekhara on the Siddhanta Kaumudi, the Parivashanu Shekhara, and the Pradipodjyotaha. So anyway, so there he says that this is Swarthi. This is in the Shabdendu Shekhara, it says Swarthe Kaha. So it's not a joke. Who is Swarthe? It's not who is Swarthe, but the Pratyaya is Ka. And now how do we get this Kan? That we will see more maybe in the next lesson. There's a Nyapakam on the Sutram 545. There is no Ripani Sutram which will really prescribe this Swarthe Kan. Swarthe. But we see that Pratyaya in one places. So what they have done is that taken the Sutram 545, 545, which has a Nyapakam on that. This is Nishedha for the Swarthe Kan. Then they say Kutra Vihitaha Swarthe Kan. So this Swarthe Kan is not prescribed anywhere. Where is it coming from? He says Etad eva Nyapakam bhavati Swarthe Kan niti. So that is that. So on this 545. So what has happened from that is that in the at least in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, now they have this as a Vartikam of the Sarva Pratipadikebhya Swarthe Kan. So that is let me just give you the exact wording of that. So that is now, in fact, maybe we'll put in a document. So this was what I discovered after last class, is that at the end of the Sakarmakaha, Salomakaha, etc. This is not apparently the Kap Pratyaya at all. This is the Swarthe Kan Pratyaya, which Akka Pratyaya is Nagesha. I think this is Kan only, I'm pretty sure. So that is what it is. Let me just quickly find this Vartikam from here. Give me a second.
Is the word Jnapakam also the same Kan Pratyaya?
What's that? Yeah, this is the way this is in the Kashika. Etadeva Jnapakam bhavati Swarthe Kanyati.
So the Jnapakam, is that also the same Kan Pratyaya?
No. That is the Nul Trucha, Nul, Akka.
Yeah. Akka.
That's after Dhatu, right? So this Jnapaka is a Dhatu, Jnapayati. But the other one I'm talking about after Pratipadikam. So that is different. Okay, let me just quickly find the wording for you. I thought it was in the, it's apparently Samasa Prakaranam. Sarva Pratipadikebhya Swarthe Kan. Hold on. It might be here also. Anyapayati Sami Vachanam Swarthe Kan. I'm sorry. Sorry to waste your time, but give me 1 second. I thought this one Tadita Prakaranam, Kalpesh. Is it Tadita Prakaranam? This one, this Vartikata Lika Kan Pratyaya. Let me see. Sarva. Yeah, it is there. Correct. Swarthe Kan. So this Vartikam is worded as follows. It says that Sarva Pratipadikebhya Swarthe Kan. That is the Jnapakam derived from this 545. Sarva Pratipadikebhya Swarthe Kan. Okay. Sarva Pratipadikebhya Swarthe Kan. Swarthe Kan. This is the way. Okay, so finally this is what the long and short of it was. After the last class, I thought about it for a while, and luckily, see, without Nagesha's help, I would not have thought about this. but with this, I did not think that this sakarmaka, this will not be the cup pratyaya. I didn't think of that at all. I was just trying to justify the cup on some ground or the other. But this book footnote says udharaneshu swarthikaha kaha. Okay, now we are at the homework. So let us. I think we finished the word nissamshaya last time, and akrita kritya. Let's review that one again one more time. That one was here. It says kritam krityam yena saha krita kritya. Comes in Gita krita krityascha bharata. End of chapter 15. That krita krityascha bharata. Let's see, chapter 15 of Gita. I think the very last verse of Gita of that chapter 15. Itad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha bharata. So kritam krityam yena saha kritakrityascha bharata. Kritam krityam yena saha. This is a situation where we have both of them. I think we talked in the last class. Both of them could be adjectives here. So saptami visheshane bahuvrihav. That might not give us a clear verdict on which should take the purnipataha. So here when nishthantam padam will take the purnipataha. So 236 is sutram nishtha. So kritam krityam yena saha is a bahuri compound, and by the sutram nishtha 236, krita will take the purnipataha, so krita krityaha, and then akrita krityaha, which will be the nyangintat purushaha, negation tat purushaha, and then of course na lopo nayaha. So the vigraha vakyam will be na krita krityaha is equal to akrita krityaha. So one who has not done what is to be done. So this we can put the vigraha vakyam of this one very simply as na krita krityaha equals akrita krityaha. Krityaha equals akrita krityaha. We can put it like that. Krityaha equals akrita krityaha. Okay, so that's where we stopped last time. Now, nishphalaha. Nishphala is the same thing in nirashaha. But we saw nirasha I think a few times. So here we'll do it one more time is nirashaha. So let's see nirashaha. So you had nirasha could be taken as a pradi samasaha or bahubari samasaha. So two ways to do it. Nishkrantaha ashayaha. So nishkrantaha phalat. That which has left the fruit behind, result behind. Which means nishphalam means there is no result, useless basically, useless. So vyayamaha. This is an exercise. This is a futile exercise. Nishphala vyayamaha. So come nishkrantaha phalat. So you take it as a pradisamasaha. Kugati pradeha, and the vartikam niradeha krantadyarthe panchamya. We saw this last time in the class. And bahuvri will be nirgatam phalam yasya saha. So that will be other way to do it. By this vartikam pradibhyo dhatu jasya vachotra badal lopaha. This both we did last time. So this nishphalaha will be like nirashaha, and then we can then make it nishphala vyayamaha just by visheshanam visheshana bahulam. Because any bahuri compound generally has a noun at the end, and the entire compound, because anyapada pradhana, becomes an adjective. So this nishphalaha. So the nirgataha phalat athva nirgatam phalam yassaha, that will then further compound to make a karmadharya compound, which is nishphalaschaso vyayamascha. Nishphalaschaso vyayamascha. Nishphala vyayamaha as a karmadharya compound. Karmadharya compound, visheshanam, visheshana bahulam. This bahuri compound is a visheshanam. It compounds with the noun vyayamaha. So this exercise is basically a futile exercise. Okay, now we have the next section in the book, and this he wants us to translate these into English. So it says, Gunavan suchirasthayi devena pina sayyate tishtatyekam nisham chandraha Shriman Sampurna Mandalaha. I think the typo in the book should be Sampurna Mandalaha. That will not be Sampurna otherwise, right? Not Sapurna, but Sampurna Mandalaha. So Padachedaha is kind of straightforward here. Gunavan Suchirasthayi Daivena Api Na Sayyate. Na Sayyate. Tishtati ekam nisham chandraha shriman sampurna mandalaha. So this Gunavan is Prathama Ekvachanam Pullinge, is all qualifying just Chandraha, or it can be also in the general sense in the first line. So it's a Pullinge Prathama Ekvachanam of Gunavat Pradipadikam. Sugunaha, you can say Prashastaha Gunaha Santyasya Asya Ti Gunavan. So one who has good quality. Then in the next lesson of Antoine, we'll be looking at this Adhikara of Tadasya Astyasminiti Matup, sense of possession affixes, the possession affixes. So at that time we look at how this Gunavat was formed. Basically the Matu Pratyaya was added to the word Guna, and then that Vakara of, the Makara of Matup became Vakaraha, Sutram 829. Madhupadayascha Matorvo Yavadibhya. We see this in the next class, in the next lesson. So Gunavat Pratipadikam, this is Prathama Ekvachanam Pullinge. Suchirasthayin Pratipadikam. Suchirasthayin Pratipadikam, decline like Yogin or Dandin. So this will be the sutram which is Saucha. Saucha. So these I have not put in the document because these, I think we know by now how to decline Yogin or Tapasvin. So Saucha Sutram, which is Upadadhirkaha. So Suchirasthayin, we're going to derive that momentarily. So that's also Prathama Ekvachanam Pullinge. Daivam. So Devadagatam Daivam. There also something which we see in the next class in Tadita Prakranam. Tata, like Maheshwara Sutrani. Tata Agataha, which has come from that. So that is that's Tadita Prakranam. Let me see if I can just quickly. Tata Agataha. Sutram is 4374, which has come from that. So Maheshwara Agatani Sutrani, Maheshwarani Sutrani. So add Maheshwara plus and make it Maheshwarani. Object is some which has come, something which has come from Maheshwara. Same thing here. Devadagatam Daivam. Daivam. So Daivena is Prithya Ekvachanam. Api Avyayam. No is Avyayam. Sahyate Tingantam Padam. This is Pratham Purusha Ekvachanam Karmani. Sa is to tolerate. To tolerate. So it's not tolerated. Sahyate, of course, Prathya Yak has been added here. 3167. These have been covered in daily examples many times. So didn't put in the document. Straightforward form like Pachyate, Likhyate, Sahyate. Tishtati, also Tingantam Padam. This also been covered in the daily examples many times. By this sutram Pa Ghradma Stha becomes Tishtha. Stha becomes Tishtha. Dhatu is Shtha Gati Nivrittau. Dhatva Deshassaha. This is nothing new, so I just didn't put this in detail in the document. It will take too much time in the class. So Dhatva Deshassaha Sakara Desha and the Nimittasyapaye Naimittikasyapayaha. Naimittikasyapayaha. So it becomes Stha. Then by the sutram, because the Pratyaya Shap is going to follow, we start with Stha plus Lat. Then we can bring in the tip, then begin Shap in between, Kartari Shap, and then by the sutram Paragradma, Stha becomes Tishtha. So Tishtati is Pratham Purusha Ekavachanam. Ekam is qualifying Nisham. Both are Striyam Dvitiya Ekavachanam. Silinga Dvitiya Ekavachanam. Now this one as you should put over here is this Kaladhvanor Atyanta Sanyoge. The Dvitiya Bhakti here, when something happens for a continuous period of time or distance, then Dvitiya is to be used. So the sutram is Kaladhvanor Atyanta Sanyoge. So that is Sutram 235, because this is not the Karmani Dvitiya, but this is something happening for a continuous period of time or distance. So I'll maybe put this here to both Ekam and Nisham. The Dvitiya Vibhakti is prescribed by 235. Kala Dhunorattin Sanyoge. Chandraha, Prathama Ekvachanam, Shriman, similar to Gunavan. Here you have, see this Makara of Matup only becomes Vakaraha if the Angam, if the prior letter is either a Avarnaha or a Makaraha, or the Upadha is a Avarna or Makaraha. In this case, Guna was ending in a Akaraha. That's why the Makara of Matu. Sutram is 829. Madhupadayascha Matorvo Javadibhyaha. This is where, but here Shriman is ending in a Ikaraha. So that's why we will not get the Vakara Desha. Shriman Sampurna Mandalaha is a Bahuvri compound. qualifying Chandraha. This also Prathama Ekvachanam Pullinge. But you see here that excuse me, that Mandalam was a Napustilinga Shabdaha, became Mandalaha as a Bahuvri compound. Let's form this one for Suchirasthai. Let's look at the compound Suchirasthai. Suchiram is a Pradisamasaha. So Su Atyantam Chiram. That is Su is equal to Atyantam Chiram. That is the Pradhisamasa. Su in the sense of Atyantam. Su can be, Shobhanam, Sundaram, can also be Atyantam. So Su is Atyantam Chiram. So if, for example, in Gita you have Sudurlabha, Atyantam Durlabha, very, very difficult to get, in the sense of very. So very long. So Su can be used in the sense of good, like, Sulikitam, Suktam, can also be used in the sense of Atyantam. So it means for a very long time. Su Chiram, Su Atyantam Chiram, Suchiram by Kugati Paradayaha. Now then we have this Upapada Samasa, Suchiram Tishtati Tachilaha, Suchirasthai, one who habitually stays for a long time, Suchirasthai. This sutram is, I think we've seen this before in the class, Supyajato Ninistachilye, which means that, look at this word Supi Saptam Ekavachanam. So that gives us the Upapadam. So any sup can be the Upapadam. It should be Ajato, should not be a Jati Vachaka Shabdaha. Then what can happen? Then the Pratyaya Nini can be used, but it should be Tachilye. So one who does that action should do it habitually, not once in a while. So ajatyarthe supi dhator ninistachilye dyotye, in the sense of tachilye. So that this dhatu ishtha gati nivruttau, means to not move, to stay in one place. That becomes stha, which we just talked about that, by dhatu adeshasaha nimittapaye naimittikasyaapyapayaha. So that the shtunashtu gets reversed out, so the shtha, the thakara goes back to its prior form, which is thakara, becomes stha. Then suchira plus stha plus nini. By the sutram, upasamasa means upapadam ating. Upapadam ating, 2219. In tatra upapadam saptami stham the adhikaraha. In that the sutram is supya jato vinistachilya. Very, very, very famous sutram. We'll use a lot of times to form, like, Ushna Bhojan, Shakaharin, all of these words are in this sense. So very, very important sutram. Supya Jato Dinistachilye. And so then the usual steps, Anubandha Lopaha Chutu, Upadesha Jananasika It, then the Samudaya Pratipadika Sanya Kutita Samasascha, Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho Supluk. These are all standard for us now. And then this tha gets a yuk agamaha. Why? Ato yuk chin kruto ho. This is angakaryam. Angakaryam 7333. If you have adantamangam, in this case, this tha is ending in the akaraha. So yuk agama bhavati chin kruto ho. So adantanam yuk agamaha sya chini niti kriti. So the krut pratyaha, which is a nit chavarga panchama atva Tavarga Panchamaha, idrupena tishtati. Which has which is what's happening here is that, remember our friend Acho Niti, from that anuvritti of Niti goes down into 7.3. And this sutram ato yukchin krutoho is coming there. So if you have adantamangam, it has to be followed by pratyaya chin, which you don't have right now. This will see in the last lesson of this book, chin pratyaha, but krutoho, chin krutoho. So niti kriti. So here pratyaya nini was there, ni, this is nit pratyaya, it's a krut pratyaha, is prescribed in 3278, so krudating. Krudating starts from 3193. Said too many times, adhikaras are very important, ashtadhyaya, we should know where they are. So niti kriti, yuk agamaha, adyantau takito becomes the antyavayavaha, and then anubandha lope, upadeshanasika it halantyam suchirasthayin. We decline like yogin or bhogin, tapaswin. So when you decline it, you get the saucha dirgha. That I have not put in because that we should know by now. We know as a practice on the website. If you want to practice 6413 saucha, suchirasthayi. So one who stays habitually for a long time. So what do you say? Suchirasthai. Yes, Anuj has a question. Yes, Anuj.
Satishji.
Yes.
No, namaste.
Namaste.
That 33126 won't apply for Suchirasthai Su because of Su there.
But there should
That
only have
you shared those.
this sushu. But there should be
Yeah.
But there should be a dhatu, Anuji, for that. This chira is not a this is in the dhatu adhikaraha. So to apply 320 like sukaram, durlabham, durgamam. So all of these, this is in the dhatu adhikaraha. So if a dhatu is there preceded by isha, so here we have su is there, but we don't have a dhatu for that, So that's why, yeah. So we don't use that. Yes. Okay. Now, so that's this. So the meaning becomes, let's see anything, and then we have this sampurna mandalaha. This straightforward sampurnam mandalam yasya saha. The full moon, the moon which is full orb. Sampurnam mandalam yasya saha sampurna mandalaha chandraha. Sampurnam is qualifying mandalam, so saptami visheshana bahuvriha. Purunipataha, so this is saralaha. Saralaha samasaha, straight sugamaha samasaha. So now the transition becomes that gunavan, one who is possessed of good qualities, suchirasthai, who stays for a long time, daivena apina sanyate, even fate, daiva is like fate, like destiny. Na sanyate is a passive form, so even he is not tolerated, even by fate, by destiny. Why? The example is given that the Shriman Chandraha, the glorious moon, Sampurna Mandalaha, with his full orb, stays only for one night. Tishtati ekam nisham eva tishtati. So this Chandraha, when he is Gunavan, when he is Sampurna Mandalaha, he is not Suchirasthai, because Daivena apina sayyate. Even nature, destiny, fate does not tolerate. I mean, of course, in the world we know that anybody who has good qualities, people are envious of him. So, but even in nature we find that the moon, which is, I mean, this is of course a joke of the Kavi, that even that basically the abhipraya here is that this tendency of jealousy or envy is so pervading that even in nature we see that. I mean, of course, this is a joke, that even the moon cannot be in his full glory for more than one night. So even nature does not tolerate. So which means that people everywhere, unfortunately, do not tolerate somebody who has good qualities for a long time. So one who has good qualities, he's not tolerated, and who stays for a long time is not tolerated even by nature, by fate, by destiny. The moon, the glorious moon, with his full orb, stays only for one night. Okay. Now, the next one in the book is that Aho Kutila Buddhinam Durgraha Manasam Manaha Anyadvachasi Kanthe Anyadoshtapute Sthitam. Kanthe Anyadoshtapute Sthitam. So Aho is an Avyayam. Padacheda is Aho. Kutila Buddhinam Durgraha Manasam Manaha Anyad Vachasi Kanthe Anyat Oshtapute Sthitam. Okay. So Aho means, oh, look at this. What a wonder. It can be what a shame also, maybe in this case. Comes in Gita, right? Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita avayam. Oh no. So it's like a oh. So in fact the English word oh might come from aho. The avyam is Sanskritam aho. The English word oh is aho. Aho. Kutila buddhi now is a bahuvri compound. So even the buddhi is a strilinga pratipadikam. It has been declined like hari shabda here. Kutila buddhi nam jananam purushanam lokanam. We'll look at this one in a second. It's bahuvri compound. It's shashti bahuvachanam. You say shashti means always make the sambandha. The moment you say shashti, make the sambandha with another with another padam, or it could be with an avya sambandha, could be with an avyayam. Kutila buddhi nam manaha. The manas is the Pradipadikam here. Samo Napumsakat. This is Prathama Ekavachanam. So aho kutila buddhina manaha. Oh, look at this mind of those whose thinking is crooked. Whose thinking is crooked thinking. So this is and this is one more adjective, Durgraha Manasam. This Durgraha, by the way, Anuji, this is going to be that Isha Dussushu. Anuji, this is the one, Durgraha. Durgraha. So there we have Dhatu Grah.
Yes, Sachin. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But here, in fact, Grah is there, but it's not, but this, what's happening is that if you look at the Gita, in the Gita we have what? Remember the Gita Prayogaha? Mano Drudnigraham Chalam. So Gita should be in your mind at all times, playing in the background. Like you have a record in your brain which plays the Gita at all times, constantly circling in your brain. So then when something from the Gita, anything you see in life which connects to Gita, just pick it up like that, you can connect it, make the connection. So here, of course, this is Vyakaranam, but even otherwise, Mano Durnigraham Chalam is what Bhagavan says. So Durnigraham. But here we are slightly different now. This is Durnigraham, not Graham. Not Graham, but what we have right now is that Durgraham. Okay, so we'll look at that in a second. So here we have Nich Pratyaya has been used in between here. Durgraha Manasam. So first of all, this is the Upapada Samasaha. Durgraham. So Dukkhena, Krichrena, Grahyate, iti Durgraham, which can be made to be taken up with difficulty, which is hard to be basically fathomed. So Grahyate, which is made to be taken, made to be accepted, Grahyate. So, and then make a Bahuri on top of that is Durgraham Manaha Yesham Te. So those are ones whose mind is hard to fathom, hard to understand. Durgraham Manasam Manaha. Then why is it so? Vachasi Anyat Sitam. So in their speech there is something else. Kanthe Anyad. In their neck, in their throat, something else. And Oshtapute Anyasthitam. And in the hollow of their lips, there's something else. So basically they change it so many times that there is no Stiravachanam. So Vachasi Anyad, Kanthe Anyad Oshtapute Sthitam. So they don't have any straightforward thing to say. That's the thing. So let's look at the compound here. So Kutila Buddhir Yesham Deo. Kutila Buddhayaha. So Nashta Buddhayaha comes in it. So Manda Matayaha, these are all very, very famous Bahuri compound. Basically you can put Buddhi or Mati at the end and put something, Nashta Buddhayaha. So Nashta Buddhir Yesham Yasyasaha. So you can say Kutila Buddhir Yesham Te. Kutila means like crooked thinking. So those whose mind is crooked. Nothing really special here. This Aneka Manya Padarthe. The only thing Kutila gets the Pumvad Bhavaha. Vasu has gone to India, but he is the Samrat of Pumvad Bhavaha. So Sutram is 6334, which you spend the whole class on that Sutram. That is the Striya Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanung Samana Adhikarane Striyam Purani Priyadishu. So basically we have a feminine adjective in Samadhikaranam with a feminine Uttarapadam. Then that feminine adjective becomes Pumvad. Takes a masculine like form. The Sri Pratyaya top, which should come on top, is now thus goes away. As long as there is no ung at the end and it's not in this, there is no Purani following or the Priyadi Shabda following, which you don't have. So Kutila becomes Kutila. Now, Graha Upadane, Graha is to take up, to accept, means to kind of to understand also. Grahanam. Grahanam means also Arthak Grahanam, understanding the meaning. And to understand. So Graha doesn't also mean physically take also, mentally also to take up, means to understand. Or we also means to control. Mano durnigraham chalam comes in Gita. The mind is hard to control. I think here we have to nich pratyaya has to be added here first. Hetumati cha. We did this in the last Saturday class. So basically when there is a hetu. So very quickly here is that we have in the adhikara of karake. Panini first defines what is karta. He says swatantra karta. So he who is the main element, he, she, it in an action on which the action primarily depends. Without him there is no action. And who has independence to act, he is called karta. Everything is the karma, karanam, adhikaranam, that is all depends on the kartra adhinam. It depends on the karta. The karta is the main, without him, that the entire action centers on the karta. So he is karta. And then because the karanam cannot act independently, it depends on the karta first having the desire to act, when only the instrument has any meaning. But then tat prayojako hetushcha. One who impels, propels, instigates the doer, he is called the hetu and the karta. You have two kartas now. And then in hetumati cha, when such a hetu is there, in connection with that, if a dhatu is used, connected with that hetu, then by 3.126, pratyaya nich has to be used for hetumati. Hetumati vyapare. So when the vyapara has hetuman vyaparaha, when there is somebody who is instigating somebody else to act. So we have the pratyaya nich in that sense. Comes then of course we do anubandha lopaha, chutu halantyam, tasya lopaha, tayor lopaha, then acho niti, ato upadhayaha, upadha vriddhi of the akara. So ato upadhayaha, then sanadyanta dhatavaha, this grahi gets the dhatu sanya, because unless we get the dhatu sanya, we cannot use any sutram from the dhatu adhikara. But this dhatu, of course, is not in the dhatu partha. This is in dhatu partha. Graha is in dhatu partha, but not grahi. So grahi gets dhatu sanya with sanadyanta dhatavaha. And then the sutram dukkhena grahyate. So that which can be made to be understood with great difficulty. So this is the sutram which is the 3.3.126. Ishadussu krichra-krichrartheshu khal. So it's upapada samasaha, upapada matim, tatra upapadam saptami stham. And then comes this 3.3.26, which says that when one of these three is upapadam, ishadussu, that's the saptami bahuvachanam. Ishadus or su, of which dus and su are the more common ones, in the sense of krichra or akrichra. Krichra, krichrartheshu. So means difficulty, or krichra is like, torture, because, or great pain, or difficulty. So in that sense, ease or, so either pain or absence of pain. That case, khal will be used for. In this case, you have the pratyaya khal in the sense of krichra, krichrarthe. Okay, so with the khal, then lashak patadite halantyam akara vashishyate. And then what happens is that by niraniti, this pratyaya has sanya of ardhadhatukam, because ardhadhatukam sheshaha. You cannot take an idagamaha, because idagamaha is valadehe. You're going to see in the next Saturday class, you're going to see this sutram, which you have seen in this class many times, of course, which is 7.235. Ardhadhatukasya valadehe. This, of course, is the pratyaya ajadi. We talk about valadi, ajadi, haladi, anekach, ekach, pathamataha, anubandha lopaha. So first anubandha lopa becomes akaraha. This is ajadi, not valadi. Idagamo no sambhavati. The niraniti. Anidada vardhatuke pare ned lopasyat. So nich will, with the ni, will go away, followed by pratyaya which is sanya of ardhatukam, which does not have idagamaha. So this ikara, this nich goes away, durgraha. So that which is made to be understood with difficulty, durgraha. And then durgraha mano yeshamte, durgraha manas pratibadikam, durgraha manasaha, prathama bahuvachanam. Same thing, because the bahuri is an adjective. So if we also learn something here now, is the bahuris being adjectives, they can then this durgraha is upapada samasa. This is an adjective. is also an adjective. So that enters into Bahuvari compound, Durgraham Mano Yesham Te, to create a new compound adjective, those whose mind is made to be understood with difficulty. So Tesham Manaha. So look at the mind of these people whose thinking is crooked, whose minds are crooked, and I guess thinking, and whose minds can be only be made to be understood with difficulty. And why is that? Because Vachasi Anyat. So in their speech there's something else. They tell something else. Kante Anyat. The throat there's something else. And then Oshtapute Anyasthitam. In the hollow of their lips, they change it, they cannot say anything straight. Oshtapute Anyasthitam. Oh, by this thita, by the dhatu, the same dhatu, shtha, gatinivritto. And this, I didn't put this in the document before. The sutram is 7440. Jati sthati, jati syati, mastha mittikiti. Jati syati, mastha ittikiti. So these four dhatus, out of which stha is one of them, when they follow by pratyam is tado kiti. Takara dikrit pratyaya. This is pratyaya nishtha, kta pratyaya. Jaktavatu nishtha. So that time they get the ikara desha. Jati sthati, jati syati, mastha mittikiti, like amita. Mita become like that. So that's what the sutram here for sthitam. And then this one is straight for compound oshtayoho putam oshtaputam. So this is the putam is like a hollow cavity. So excuse me, so the cavity of the lips, oshtayoho putam tasmin. And then anyat. Anyat is the pratipadikam, sarvanama pratipadikam, sarvanama shabda anya. The sutram, which is, you have seen in daily examples, I hope you remember the sutram. It is adad. You get the adad, so 7125. Say that adad ditaradibhyah panchabhyah. So we have the samo napumsakat, then atoam, adad ditaradibhyah panchabhyah. With these five sarvanama shabdaha, datara, etc. Of course, datara is itself is a pratyaya. So those ending in datara. So we have this sutram, which is so Katarat comes in Gita. Kataranno gariyo yadvajayam yadivano jayeyo. Kataranno gariyo. What is better for us? What is more important to us? Na chaitad vidmaha kataranno gariyo yadvajayam yadivano jayeyo. When you chant that shloka in Gita, or comes in Gita, this one also comes in Gita. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchasi dhananjaya. Mai sarvidam prottam sutre manigana iva. So chapter 2 we have Katarat. I think in chapter 7 it is, you have the Anyat. Maybe other places also. So that is so Datara, Datama, Anya, Anyatara. So these are and Itara. So these five. So Datara, Datama Pratyas. So those ending in Datara and Datama. And Anya. So Anya. So what we have is Anya. Adad, and that daka is an it bahalantyam, and because of the tehe sutram we get t lopaha by tehe anyat. So that's what it means. Anyat will be napumsakalinga. Here it says this is called samanye napumsakam. Samanye napumsakam. Anyat is a sarvanama shabda. There should be a nama shabda behind it. We say something. So there's something, there's one thing, there's something else in their speech, something else in their throat, and something else is situated in the hollow of their lips. Okay. So anyat is the pratama ekvachanam. Now yatha gajapatihi shantaschayarthi vruksham Vishramya tam dhrumam hanti tatha nicha samashrayam. Yatha gajapati shrantaschayarthi vrikshamashritaha Vishramya tam dhrumam hanti Tatha nichas samashrayam. Okay. So say so gajanam. So first padacheda yatha gajapatihi shrantaha chayarthi. Same that chayathin pradipadikam. Very similar to this word suchirasthai which we had right now. Suchirasthain pradipadikam. We just saw that. So same thing here. Chayarthin, like vidyarthin, vidyarthi, chayarthi. Of course, if you're feminine, it becomes vidyarthini, chayarthini. So chayarthi prathama ekvachanam pullinge pradipadikam chayarthin upapada samasaha. So chayam arthayati tachilaha chayarthin. So one who longs for, one who wants shade. Vruksham dvitiya ekvachanam ramavat ashritaha. Comes in Gita, Praninam Deham Ashritaha, Pranapana Samayuktaha, Pachamyanyam Chaturvidham. Ashrita comes in Gita chapter 15. Of course, it is here Pullinge Prathama Ekvachanam. It is a Krudanta Prayogaha. It's a participle form. A plus Shri, resort to. Vruksham Ashritaha. Before I forget one thing here is that you see Vruksham is the karma, the object of the ashranam, is the object of resorting. Now if you say a past passive participle, which is a very, very bad name to say, it cannot take an object. Say Ramena Vali Hataha, which is the main example I give all the time. That Hataha cannot take an object, it's passive. But this one must be in the active. Ashrita, to take an object, Vruksham. So this it says because the Vruksham is Dvitiya Ekvachanam. Dvitiya means it requires some ashraya. Dvitiya requires an ashraya, something to resort to. Dvitiya cannot stand on its own. So then it is connected with the word ashritaha. Now ashritaha, normally this pratyakta, tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. Tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. By 3, 4, 7 it will become passive. But this better not be passive. It's passive, you cannot take an object. So this is the Gatyartha karmaka shli shashing sthasa vasa jana ruha jiryate bhyascha. So Gatyartha dhatu. So this is Ashri is also to be taken Gatyartha. Gatyartha dhatu means to resort to take recourse to. So now this has become active by 3472. This is now an active form. Ashritaha. Ashritaha. Could have been passive too. Somebody who has been taken recourse to. This can also be like we say Ramena Vanam Gatam, Ramaha Vanam Gataha. Both are possible. So here clearly it is not the Gajapati who has been resorted to by somebody else, but he himself has taken recourse to this. He's taken to this tree. Okay. Now Vishramya, we see many times this sequence of the Ktva Pratyaha, which is the Samana Kritikyoho Purva Kale, then form a Kugati Paradeha from Gati Samasaha. Then after that we form the Samasanyang Purve Ktvo Lyap by 7137. This has come in the daily examples many times. I didn't put the numbers here. So first we have 3421, which is Samakritikya Purvakale. So there must be some common doer doing two actions. It's Gajapati. So having rested, then he destroys the tree. So the Gajapati. Shram is to be tired. Vishram is to relax. Vishramya. Finally 7137. So 3421 followed by 2218 for the Samasaha, and then 7137 for the Lyapadesha. Vishramya, Tam Drumam, these are both Dvitiya. Ekavachanam, object of Hanti, very straightforward form. This Hanti is not Jontaha. This is not Hanti by Jontaha. This is Pratham Purusha Ekavachanam. Pratyay is Tip, not G. This Nakara is Dhatoho Nakaraha. Natu Ji Pratyay. This is not the Adesha of Anti for Ji Pratyana Astyatra. So this only thing. So this is not Bhuvachanam, it's Ekavachanam. अधिप्रभृतिभ्यः शपः शप लुक् तथा is तेन प्रकारेण अव्ययम नीचः a lowly person prathama ekavachanam swam ashrayam and take hanti because the Dehli Deepajnayah hanti goes both ways, will not be repeated again. So just like a lordly elephant who is tired and wants shade, he rests on a tree, and having rested, he destroys the tree. In the same way, a lowly person destroys his own support. Somebody who helped him, his own support, he destroys. Swam ashrayam. Look at the swam ashrayam, of course, is again Dvitiya swam ashrayam. Swam is Sarvanama Shabdaha. Dvitiya ekvachanam. So Gajanam Patihi, Gajapatihi, straightforward. This is not Lord Ganesha. It could be Lord Ganesha also. This case straightforward. So Pati means husband. It also means leader, king, Lord. So lordly elephant. 228 Srishti Samasaha. Then Chayam Arthayati Tachila Chayarthi. So Artha Upayachyayam means to request, to beg for, to ask for. So Artha plus Nich. So this is Churadikana. So Swarte Nich. 3125. And then Anubandha Lope Chutuhalantyam. And then we get Atolopaha, 6448. Adanta dhatu Atolopaha. So Adantasyangasya Lopavati Ardhatake Parataha. So Atolopaha. And then Arthika Dhatu Sanya by Sanadhyanta Dhatavaha. And then similar to Chayarthi we derive similar to the Suchirasthai, we can derive the same way Chayarthi by Supya Jato Ninista Chilye. It's one compound. And then, well, I have it here. Okay, I already have derived. Okay, no, I derived from Shranta. Shramu Tapasi Khedecha, to be tired basically. So Shrama plus Kta, this is Vartamani, somebody who is tired. Now this Sutram Nishtha, 32102, which we use to form these past passive participles, that is in the Bhute Adhikara. When we say Aham Shantosmi, I'm tired, then how do we Shanto Aham? No, that is not Bhutarthe. It is not like I was tired before. I'm tired now. Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha comes in Gita. Karishye Vachanantava, chapter 18 of Gita. Sthitosmi Gata Sandeha. So now, then what we do is that, we look at this sutram. This is 32188, last sutram, Charamam sutram. Titiyasya Dvitiye Pade. Titiyasya Dhyayasya Dvitiye Pade. This 3.2, Mati Buddhi Puja Debhyascha. So following this dhatu in these certain meanings and some other dhatus also. This cha. So chat, this cha is for the anukta samuchayartaha cha. So this cha is used in the sense of including other dhatus also, which are not in these meanings. So basically what can mean, you can look at 32188. What we're trying to do is that we are trying to make the Shantaha in the Vartamani instead of Bhute. So just what is going on here. So 32188 says that in the sense of this Mati Buddhi and Puja Tebhyascha. So it says, Rajnyam Mataha, Rajnyam Ishtaha. So he is desired by the kings. Rajnyam Buddhaha, recognized by the kings. Rajnyam Nyataha, it means Rajnyam Pujitas, Achitaha. So one who is respected by the king, one who is honored by the king, whom understood by the king, known by the king, one who desired by the kings. But in this meaning of, desire or wanting or understanding or knowing or respecting, then for such dhatus we can use this pratyakta vartamani. But that will not explain all the uses, like rishtaha, tushtaha. So how do we explain these? And what they say is that this is the should be anukta samuchayarthashchakaraha. Anukta samuchayartha. Samuchaya is to include those other dhatus also. which are not specifically mentioned in this sutra, mati buddhi ujate vyascha. So this has become basically like a loophole to justify usages where the kta use vartamane, but is not included in the sutram 3288 won't apply as it is. It may not be in those three meanings, but we can extend that. Whereas anukta samucharthashchakaraha. So sham plus sham anubandha lopaha upadesha janunasika itrahum asya lopaha shram plus kta. And then, we get, of course, taktavatu nishtha. This is also in the sense of kartari, because this is akarmaka dhatu, karmaka. So it's one who's tired. It's an active voice. So 3470 teore vakrityakta kalartha would make it passive, but 3472. So that's why it says past passive participle is not a very good name, because this is neither past nor passive. So we can, one more time, 32188 can be used to make it into the present tense. Don't confuse these two now. So 32188 use of making the present tense, and 3472 makes it active voice. And then what happens is uditova. Uditova says that with dhatu is udit, ukar is an it, that will optionally take the ida agamaha when the pratyak tva follows. Now, why do we need that right now? Why do we want that? Because right now we don't have the pratyak tva. Anurutya tvi is coming down. But when this any dhatu takes ida agamaha optionally somewhere, it becomes nishtayam, becomes anitya dhatu. So then yasya vibhasha. So one more time. So uditova was saying dhatu like shramu, ukar as an it, that will allow the ida agamaha optionally when the pratyak tva follows. Now remember, the ida agama comes to the pratyaya, not to the dhatu. And then such a dhatu which has vibhasha anywhere for the ida agamaha, that does not allow ida agamaha for the nishtha pratyaya, yasya vibhasha. As I mentioned in prior classes, we have these 21 rules in the Ashtadhyayi, 21 rules for in nishedha nishtayam. So it starts from here, shvidito nishtayam, from 7 to 14 up to 7 to 34. And one of the most important rules there is yasya bhasha. So dhatu which allows idagama optionally anywhere, that will not allow idagama when the nishtha pratyaya follows. For the nishtha pratyaya, you stop idagama, and then comes, okay Anuji, what sutram is this? 6450.
15, it's Anunasika Kinjalo
Kiniti. So this is Anuji's copyright. So this adhikara of upadadhigraha. So if you have a nasal ending angam, this is 6415, which is forward pratyaya, either the quip or jaladi kitnit. Jaladi kitnit means idagamanasti. Jaladi kitnit. Then the upadha of the angam become dirgha. Shram plus the, and then we decline it. So just supratyaha, of course, upadesha janasika it, sasajusho ruhu karavasana visarjaniyaha, and then we get the nashchapadantasya jali anuswaraha, anuswarasya parasavaranaha. So that is parasavaranaha by 8458. That makara becomes anuswaraha, anuswarasya parasavaranaha. Shranta. Okay, so that's what it means, is that just like a elephant who is tired, who is wanting shade, rests on a tree, and having rested, he destroys the tree. Similarly, a lowly person destroys something or someone who is his support. Next one is Durjanaha sujani kartum yatnena pina shakyate. Samskarena pi lashanam kasugandhi karishyati. Durjanaha sujani kartum yatnena pina shakyate. Samskarena pi lashanam kasugandhi karishyati. So Durjanaha pratama ekavachanam. Sujani kartum is going to be an amvyayam. In fact, here avyam is Su is an avyayam, Sujani is an avyayam, and Kartum is also an avyayam. All three. Finally, the Sujani Kartum is a Gati Samasaha that's finally ending in the, because Krunme Jantaha. In the Ashtadhyayi there are only 5 rules which define what is an avyayam, starting with Swarad Nipatam avyayam. And there Krunme Jantaha. Kutpratya ending in a Makaraha, like Tumun. Again, when you say Makarantam, Limudi, Anubandhas first, and only you have to check. So in Tumun, by Halantyam Upadeshana Nasika It, we get Makarantam Tum, so that by Krunme Jantaha 131, 139, this is an avyayam. Yatnena, Yatna is effort. It's clearly Titya Ekvachanam, Api is an avyayam. No is an avyayam. Shakyate, just like we had Sahyate. Pratham Purusha Ekvachanam Lat, Karmani Pragaha is not possible in the passive. So an evil person cannot be made into a good person even with effort. Tatum na shakyate. Samskarena, again samskarena is sitya ekvachanam, api avyayam. Lashanam is let's see, Sugandhi Karishyati. I think let's see if this is a Napumsakalinga, means garlic. Lashanam is garlic. I think is that, let me see the lingam of that. Lashanam, I think might be, I'm not sure the lingam of this word. Because in Sanskritam the genders are sometimes hard to guess. Let's see what. Okay, let me just look at it. There might be a part of Veda here, that's why it's not showing up. Let's see if I can find it. Might be Lashuna might be two different things. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, it is both. So Lashunaha, Lashunam. So Dvitiya Ekvachanam. So Dvitiya Ekvachanam either Pullinge Napumsakalinge. Kaha is Pradipadikam Kim. So Nama Shabda Kimah Kaha Sutram. Prathama Ekvachanam Pullinge. Sugandhi is an avyayam because of the Uryadi Chvidachascha. Chvi. You've seen this many times in the class. Uryadi Chvidachascha. Chvyantam gets the Nipata. Adhikar of Pragrishwara Nipata. Come this sutram. Uryadi Chvidachascha. So because of that, Chvyantam is a Nipata. Nipata Sanya and then Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam. Avyayam and then Karishyati. This is not a compound. Tingantam na samasyate. Karishyati is Rit Lakaraha, Purusha Ekavachanam. Only thing here is that the Idagamaha is by the special sutra because Dhatu is Anid Dhatu. But then Ruddhanosye, I think it's 7-70 is the Idagamaha. Any Dhatu ending in Viruddhanosye dhatu han, rukaranta dhatu, that will allow the idagama for pratyasya. Hanishye chapara, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, Hanishye chaparanapi. Viruddhanosye. So idagama by everything is straightforward otherwise. So Kuru takes the gunadeshaha, Runda paraha becomes kar from in syatasi, lutoho. By 3133, Siya Pratyaya comes Apavada for Shap. Idagama comes then, of course, the Murdhanya Shakara Adesha by Adesha Pratyaya Yoho. Durjanaha, Duhu Dushtaha Janaha Durjanaha. This is by Kugati Paradi, has Paradi Samasa. So Duhu in the sense of Dushtaha. Then same thing, Sujanaha is Shobhanaha Janaha. It's a good person, Sajjanaha. So same Pradi Samasa here and here also. Now, asujanaha sampadhyate tam kartum sujani kartum. So somebody who was not a good person gets transformed. He himself is transformed to a good person. And to do that means to take this person who was not a good person, make him into a good person, transform. So we have done this many times. All this we're doing in today's class is basically copying pasting from some prior class. There's nothing really new in this homework. So which takes sujana plus plus chvi. Because this is the object of kartum. By this sutram 5450. Abhutatad bhave krubhasti yoge sampadhyakatri chvihi. So krubhasti yoge, so krubhu as, we have the kartum right now. Sampadhyakatri, when something he transforms, something transforms something else. Abhutatad bhave, which was not there before, becomes that. Pratyaya chvi can be used. So chvi means sarvapahar lopaha by chutu. Upadesha jananasikait Veraputtasya 6167. Entire chvi pratyaya goes away. So we get the pratyaya chvi by 5450. And this entire samudaya gets sanya of pradipradikam krutta samasascha. Then the supodhatu pradipradikayoho gets look, and we get sujana. And then by asya chvau, avaranantam angam, followed by the chvi, and by pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, by 1162. Even though the chvi has taken sarvapahar lopaha, leave lakshanam behind, so we can use asya chvau. This is all from a prior class, nothing new. Sujani ho, akara becomes ikara. So sujani kartum, again to transform a person who was not good to a good person. Then sujani gets the gati sanya by the sutram uryadi chvidachascha. The chvyantaha gets the gati sanya, and then ete kriya yoge gati sanyaha syuho. And then by sutram, so then te prag dhatoho, will come before a dhatu. Sujani gets the avya sanya, because we talked about that, because of prag rishvara nipataha. Sutram uryadi chvidachascha, this adhikaraha. And then Surad Nipatam Avyayam, it's an Avyayam. And then Sujani plus Su, by Avyadap Supaha, Supluk Sujani becomes, takes Supluk is Avyayam. Sujani Kartum is by 2218, Kugati Pradeha, Kugati Pradeha, Kugati Pradeha. So, is formed a Gati Samasa, because Sujani got the Gati Sanya by Uryadi Chvidachascha. And then the other thing is this, Shobana Gandho Yasya Saha Sugandhi Lashanaha. So, Su plus Gandha is the Bahuvari compound clearly. Yes, you see in the Vigravakyam is the Yat Padam. That's the Chinnam, that's the Lingam for Bahuvari compound. So, this is also again copy paste from prior class, nothing new. Su Gandha, Su, Anekamanya Padarthe. Then Saptami Visheshana Bahuvrihav, then Pradipadic Sanya Krutita Samasascha Supho Dhatu Pradipadica Yoho, and then we get this Pratyaya by 54135. We get the Pratyaya, the Samas Anta Pratyaya by 54135. Is this Udasonang Dhanushascha Vasanyayam, this Id, Gandasyid, Utputi Susrabibhyaha. So we get this ikaraha as the samas anta pratyaya. So when the gandha, actually is what happens is because gandhasya is we talked about this in the prior class, is shashti ekavachanam. This it becomes an adesha. Even though we are in the adhikar of pratyaya parascha, this of course we know samas anta pratyaya becomes the antya avayavaha of the samasa, but in this case it is actually an adesha. Gandhasya shashti ekvachanam, so that the antya akara of gandha takes the ikara adesha. So 5435 we have looked at, we've seen that. Let me see if I can quickly refresh your memory on 5435 for 54135 is that Gandhasyed Utputi Susrabibhyaha Utputi Susrabhite Tebhya Parasya Gandhasya Ikaradesha Bhavati. We also talked about one thing here is that normally alontyasya, but this is Utputi Susrabhibhya is Panchami Bhavachanam. Then why not Adef Parasya? Because now when your Panchami Nirdesha is being done, then only the beginning letter of the sthani will be replaced. Because with the samasanta adhikara. So because with samasanta adhikara, we talked about this when we did this sutram in the class, is that gandha, only the ending akara will be replaced, not the beginning gakara. So even though Adef Paribhasha is there, because with this Sutram is Samasanta Dikaraha, the ending Akara only becomes Ikaraha and Sugandhi. And after that, Asugandhi Sampadithitam Karishyati. So making something which is not fragrant, transform it to fragrant. To transform to fragrant, the one who does that, who shall do that, shall do that. So he, she, it shall make that transform itself from basically being non-fragrant to fragrant. So similar thing, Sugandhi plus by this sutram, Abhuta Tadbhave. Keep on repeating the sutras. That's really the joy of Panini. The joy of Panini is keep on repeating these. Abhuta Tadbhave, Kubvasti Yoge, Sampadya Kartari Chvahi. Plus 5450. You just saw that. So same thing here, but the only difference, a slight difference only is going to be the Dirgha Adeshaha. So we just follow the same steps, and then Sarvapahar Lopaha, and then instead of, this is Nagaraji in the class. Welcome Nagaraji. This is your sutram, by the way. I'll never forget that. Right? You remember this one? Chivaucha. This was which I forgot this in one of the Raghumusha class, and Nagaraj reminded me. So yes, Chivaucha. So when the pratyaya chvi follows, then also we get this Dirgha Adesha. Dirgha Sutram Chvaucha. 7426 Chau. So instead of using Asya Chvau, we have to use Chvaucha. So Chaupare Purvasya Dirgha Syat. So we get Sugandhi. Sugandhi comes over here. And then Sugandhi Karishyati. Then same thing, Gati Sanya by Uryadichvi Dachascha. Then we get the Avyaya Sanya, same way. Pragrishvaran Nipataha. Then Surad Nipatam Avyayam. And then Avyadap Supaha. Now here only Te Prag Dhatoho. Because Tingantam na Samasyate. It's not a Samas. Only Te Prag Dhatoho. 1480. So the meaning of this shloka is, this Subhashitam is that, it is not possible to transform an evil person to a good person, even with effort. Who shall make garlic? Who shall transform garlic into a fragrant substance, into a fragrant thing, even with samskara, means like some operations, some let's see, samskara, what's the right word in English is that? Even by some procedures, So who can transform Sugandhika? Yes, Anuji is the question. Yes, Anuji. Anuji, yes.
No, I was going to say by purification.
Purification, yes.
Purification
by dressing, by operations, by procedure. So that's the meaning. Yes, thank you. Purification also good. Samskara. Correct. Samskara, purification. Correct. Purification. So who can na kopi ityartha. So basically this is a rhetorical question. So nobody shall make transform garlic into a fragrant substance, even with purification. Okay. Next one is, so this is all again revision for us, nothing new. Danam bhogo nashastisro gatayo bhavanti vittasya. Yona dadati na bhungte tasya titiya gatir nashaha. Nothing much in this, there's nothing, samasa no drishyate, there's no samasa in this shlokaha. So danam bhogo nashastisro gatayo bhavanti vittasya. Yona dadati na bhungte tasya tritiya gatir nashaha. So danam bhogaha nashaha tisraha gatayaha bhavanti vittasya. Yaha na dadati na bhungte tasya tritiya gatihi nashaha. So danam prathama ekvachanam napumsalinga pratipadikam, bhogaha pullinga pratipadikam, prathama ekavachanam, nashaha tadvadeva, it is pullinga shabdaha prathama ekavachanam, tisraha is an adjective, sankhya-vachak shabdaha, this means 3, and this is an adjective to gatayaha, it is strilinge, Prathama Bahuvachanam. Gatayaha the same. Gati is the, here I can put this word Gati by the way. Let me see. So Anuji, what's the sutram here for the Makar Lopa in Gati? What sutram? Because Gam Dhatu Gamru, right? Gatau?
Yeah.
The Pratyaya Striyam Ktin. And Striyam Ktin never takes the Idagamaha. Tin Pratyaya. Regardless, of course, this Dhatu Gam is on it anyway. But the Striyam Ktin, the Pratyaya Ktin, does not take it up. Because Sutram 729. Titru, Titu, Tra, Ta, Tha, Si, Su, Sa, Ra, Ka, Se, Shu. So the Sutram says, so no Idagamaha. So then, but what Sutram for the Makar Lopaha? Any chance? You know the example I give all the time, Akshatan Samarpayami.
Oh, that one. 6:4:37.
Yes, which is what?
Anudat.
Very Anudat Upadesha. Vanatitanotya.
Oh, yeah.
Anunasikalupo Jalikiniti.
Kin Kiti Jijel. Yeah.
Jalikiniti. So what the Sutram says is that Anudat Upadesha. Anudat Upadesha means basically that relates to the Sutram, which is the Ekach Upadesha Anudatta. So these are basically Anit Dhatus. There are 6 of them. Yamana Magama Rama and Mana Hana. Then Dhatu Vanati. Tanotyadina. Tanadi Gana ending in nasal. Dhatu Kshan. Akshatan Samarpayami. Akshata. We'll use the Anunasika Lopo. Jalikiniti. Pratyaya Striyam Ktin. 3394. So I didn't put all these in the document because it'll take a lot of time. So this sutram for the Anunasika Lopa becomes Gati. Gatayaha is of course the Jasicha sutram. This Gunadesha Gate plus Jas Echayavaya Gatayaha. Bhavanti Tingantam Padam Spashtamidam Vatam Purusha Bhuvachanam Vittasya Shashti Ekvachanam Napusakalinge. Yaha is Pratama Ekvachanam Yat Pradipadikam Tadadina Maha Ityadi. No Avyayam Dadati also is Spashtam Pratham Purusha Ekvachanam. These are all been covered in the daily examples. We practice these because this is the Juhotyadi Bhyashluho. Then the Shlau is the Abhyasa Karyam, talking about these rules which we already know. Sutram Shlau 6110. Dadati takes Abhyasa Dhatu Dudai Dane. Dadati na bhungte. This is Dhatu Bhuj. The Rudadi Ganaha. Rudadi Bhyashnam. So this is Bhujo Navane, by the way. Don't forget Bhujo Navane. Bhujo Navane. This is Dhatu Bhuj in Rudadi Ganaha. It's not because this has been covered also in daily examples, but let me give you. So Bhujo Navane, this Dhatu Bhuja. If you look at this Rudadi Gana is a small Gana. So Alpa Akaraha. So Bhujo Navane, so Dhatu Bhuja. Let's see where it comes. It is Palana Bhyava Harayoho. So to protect or to consume. So look at this. The it is Udatta. So now we should take Sheshat Krati Parasma Padam. Let's take an Atmane Padam here. Because of Bhujo Navane. Anavane. In any meaning except Avanam, which is protection. In any other meaning, Bhujo Navane. Then we get Atmane Padam. Bhujo Navane. Bhujo Navane. Bhujo Navane. It has to be this section of Anudatta Jnita Atmane Padam. So somewhere here is Dhatu Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane, Bhujo Navane. Here it is, 1366, Bhujo Navane. So any other meaning except Avane. This will get Atmane Padam. So 1366 Bhungte. Anyway, this has all been done on the. This has been covered many times on the website. So Bhujo Navane. Tasya. Tasya Janasya Vittasya, basically. This is Titya Shashti Ekvacham Pradipatikam Tat. Titya is a Tadita Prayogaha, means this Tasya Purne Dat. So this is the third Gati. So this starts from 5.2, I think around 5.256 is so Dvestyaha Tres Samprasaranancha. This 3 takes Samprasaranam becomes so 3 becomes Tru Samprasaranacha. So Sutram 5.255. is not the topic of this lesson, but it's 5 to 55 is used to form the word titiya. And of course, in ajadya, the stop. So the pratyatiya pratyaya comes in purnarthe, means the third. Third is 5 to 55. Titiya gatir nashaha. Titiya is stilinge. Pratama ekvachanam, it's a visheshanam to gatihi. Pratama ekvachanam stilinge, and nashaha is pullinge pratama ekvachanam. I just derived this one form, 3 plus just. This sutram becomes this 7299, 72 100, 72 So that is the sutram says Trichaturoho Striyam Tisru Chatusru. Trichaturoho Striyam Tisru Chatusru. So that is this 3 and the Chatur. Take this Tisra and Chatusra Adesha Striyam. In the feminine, this probably becomes 3 becomes Tisru. Of course, Anekash is Sarvasya. And the Chatur becomes Chatasru. So 3 Silingayor etau staha vibhaktau. When vibhakti pratyaya follows, then in this feminine, this Tisru 3 becomes Tisru. Then you have Tisru plus Jas Anubandalope Chutu, na vibhaktau to Smaha. This has also been covered in daily example. I just put it here anyway, just for practice sutra. And then what happens is that normally you should have had the Rutoni Sarvanamasthana Yoho, Guna Adesha. Because Rutoni Sarvanamasthana, if you Rukarantam Angam, followed by Sarvanamasthana Pratyaha, Surana Pumustakasya, you take the Guna Adesha. But that is stopped by the following sutram, 7 to 100, which stops this sutram. It says 7 to 100, Achirarataha, 7 to 100, Achirarataha. So when the Ajadi Yukti Pratyaya follows, then this takes the Rukara takes the Repadesha, Ritaha Sthani Repadesha. Now why do we need that? Why could we not use echo and achi itself to do that? Because as I said to you, because normally we would have otherwise had 7, 3, 1, 1, 10. Rutoni Sarvanamasthana Yoho would have come to the Guna Adesha. To stop that, we need this Achirataha. 7 to 1. So Guna Dirghotva Nam Apavadaha. Guna Dirghotva Nam Apavadaha. When the Pratyaya Shas follows, you would have had the Prathama Pura Savarnaha. If the Pratyaya Shas is following, right now we had the Guna Adesha. When Jas follows, it would have happened. To stop that, we need to force the Yan back in place. So even though Ikonachi would have worked, but that would have been overruled by 7, 3, 1, 1, 10. To stop that, we need 7 to 100. Then Dutta Visargao Tisraha. So, Vittasya Tisraha Gatoya Bhavanti. There are 3 destinies, there are 3 fates, 3 outcomes of money, of wealth. One is Dhanam, charity. Is Bhogaha, enjoyment, enjoying that wealth. And Nashaha, destruction. Yo na dadati, one who vittam, you supply vittam, yo vittam na dadati, one who doesn't give money in charity, na bhungte, doesn't enjoy it. Tasya is a little bit complication here, that tasya should be connection with yat pradipadikam. So yaha janaha, this ya is janaha. Then you see, I think we have to supply vittasya. Tasya vittasya, titiya gatir nashaha. So his money goes to the third state, which is destruction. There are only 3 outcomes, which is charity, enjoyment, and destruction. So one who doesn't give in charity, doesn't enjoy, for his money is only the third fate, which is destruction. There's no compound in this word, so this was home. It's a good subhashitam, but home. Okay. Dukhi dukkadikan pashet, sukhi pashet sukhadikan. Atmanam shoka harshabhyam, shatrubhyam iva narpayet. Dukhi dukkadikan pashet, sukhi pashet sukhadikan. Atmanam shoka harshabhyam, shatrubhyam iva narpayet. Okay, so the key is Prathama Ekavachanam. We saw today the word Suchirasthayi, we saw Chayarthi, we saw ending in, so this is also Dukhin. Dukkham asyastiti dukhi. In the next lesson, we'll be looking at the matupadhikaraha. Tadasyasti yasminiti matup. Tadasyasti yasminiti matup. 5494. In that adhikara suttam atai we have 54 atta inithanau. Atta is a different sutram. Atta inithanau is what we have here. I think that is atta inithanau should be somewhere here. Atta inithanau. Strange. Give me 1 second. So atta inithanau. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. 5294. 5294. Tadasyastyasminiti matup. So atta inithanau is 52115. So the pratya. Yeah, 52. Thank you, Kalpesh. 52. So it's 52. Tadasyastyasminiti matup 5294 and 52115. Atta inithanau. Thank you, Kalpesh. So here 5215 has been used, and then of course Angam get the Bhasanya. Then we get Yasya Ticha Akar Lopaha. So 52115 Atta inithanau. So that comes here. We see it in the next lesson in detail. When Pradipadi is Dukhin Pradipadi, so one who has sorrow. Dukkham astyastiti Dukhin. 52115. Pratama Ekvacham Pullinge, and then Dukkadikan clearly is Ramavat. It has become Pullinge Dvitiya Bhavachanam Tasmacha Sonaf Pumsi. You can see that Nakara coming there. Then Pashet is Tingantam Pradam. It is Dhatu Drish. It's the same sutram. Pa Gra Dma. Drish takes the Pashadesha. Shiti Parataha. Patya Shap is here, so it takes the Pashadesha. This is Vidiling. Pratham Purusha Ekavachanam. Sukhi is again like Dukhi, same thing. Atta inithanau. Sukamasyastiti Sukhi. So Sukhi is Sukhin Pradipadikam Pullinge Pratama Ekvachanam, same thing. Pashet. Sukhadikan again Pullinga Pradipadikam. Adhika is an adjective technically, so it's adjective, but Pullinge Pratama, Dvitiya Bhavachanam. So this also Pullinge Dvitiya Bhavachanam. So one who is sorry should look at those who are even more sorry. One who is happy should look at those who are more happy. And then Atmanam is Dvitiya Ekvachanam. Atman Pradipadikam. Your sutram of course is the Savanamasthane Chasambuddhav, the Upadadhirgha. Savanamasthane Chasambuddhav is 648. So Atmanam Dvitiya Ekvachanam. Shoka Harshabhyam this is clearly Dvandva Samasaha. Shokascha Harshascha Shoka Harshav. Shoka Harshabhyam is Chaturthi. Chaturthi Dvivachanam. Chaturthi Dvivachanam. Shatrubhyam Chaturthi Dvivachanam. Iva Avyayam Na Avyayam Arpayet. One should not give one over to. One should not offer oneself. Arpayet is same thing. It's Arpayet. We're going to do it in a little bit detail down here. Also Vidiling. So one should not offer oneself. One should not give oneself up to happiness and sorrow, to sorrow and happiness, to grief and enjoyment, to grief and overjoy. Shoka Harshabhyam. As if they're enemies. These two enemies. Shoka Harshabhyam Iva. It's like offering oneself to your enemy. So one should not offer oneself, to give oneself up to despair and exuberance. So why? Because if you are sorry, think about somebody who's more sorry than those who are more sorry than you are, and if you're happy, think of those who are more happy than you are. It's like they say in English, that somebody who had no shoes was sorry until he saw a man who had no legs. saw a man who had no legs. The same thing here. Okay, anyway, Vyakaranam. So we have Dukkhena Adhikaha, Dukkadhikaha. Adhika means like, Puritaha, Nirbharaha, means they're filled with, or they're more, on account of by their sorrow, they are more, or they're filled with sorrow. So this is Dukkadhikaha. This is a Titiya Samasa. Adhika, see, to make a Bahuvari compound, generally you need as I mentioned many times, there should be generally speaking, there should be a noun as the Uttarapadam, while the entire Samasa be adjective. This Adhika is already an adjective here. So top priority should be make it a, if it's Adhika Dukkhan, then we have to make it Bahuvari compound. Adhikam Dukkham Yeshamte. Adhikam Dukkham Yeshamte. Also in a Bahuvari compound, we can normally Saptami Visheshane Bahuvari how. Visheshanam takes the Purnapataha. So now if you justify this as a Bahuvari Samasaha, then we'll have to go into this, the Vahita Agnyadishu. So this one we have to somehow justify the Purnapataha. We don't need to do all that, So that's when Vahita Agnyadishu. So we have to somehow put the Visheshanam as the Uttarapadam. I think rather than that, I think we can just take it as a Tatpurusha. Okay, the main thing is that Bahuvari is required, so to speak, when you have the noun. Always remember this simple fact. The noun is the Uttarapadam. We want the whole compound to be an adjective. So one more time. If you have a noun is the Uttarapadam, we want the whole compound to be an adjective. That is the domain of Bahuvari. Here, Adhika is not a noun. So you should not be thinking of Bahuvari at all over here. Try to see if Tatpurusha will work. We can make it Tatpurusha. This, by the way, this word Adhika. Adhika is the Sutra of Panini, by the way. Interesting. So Panini has a sutra just for the word Adhikam. Adhikam Sutram. This is an extra sutram which Panini has just for the word Adhika. Adhikam, look at that. There is a sutram which Panini has, 5273, just to form the single word Adhikam. Sutram 5273. So when Panini does that, you know that he could not fit it anywhere else. He could not generalize it to any other category. So he has to put a special Vishesha Sutram. So it becomes 5273. Adhikam. This is Adhyarudha. So Adhyarudha has been making this form, special form Adhika. So Adhikam iti nipatyate. So Adhyarudhasya Uttarapada lopaha kancha pratyaha. So Adhyarudha. Arudha means like ascended. Adhyaru means like grown, excessive, like filled, like, very excessive, very more, like, Adhyarudha. So comes in Gita, right? Yoga Rudasya Tasyeva Shamah Karanamuchyate, chapter 6, I think number 3. So Adhyarudha. So Adhyarudha, this Arudha goes away and takes and the Adi takes the Kan Pratyaya. It basically is an exceptional word. So anyway, Adhikam, Panini has special sutram, Adhikam Sutram, just for this. So Dukkhen Adhikaha, maybe I'll just put here this 5273, Adhikam. 5273, this is Adhikam Sutram, Adhikam. Okay, and then so we use Titya Samasaha by Katkarani Krita Bahulam from Adhyarudha. That Arudha was Titya, was a Krit Pratyaya. Katkarani Krita Bahulam, I think, will work. And similarly Sukhadhikan. And then now Arpayet, Rugati Prapanayoho, like comes in Gita. Yat karoshi dashnasi, yat johoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusham adarpanam. Of course, it's a famous shloka of Gita. Whatever you, yat karoshi, whatever you do, yadashnasi, whatever you eat, yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat johoshi dadasi yat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you offer in charity, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, whatever austerities you perform, made as an offering to me. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat johoshi dadasi yat, Yat tapasyasi kaunteya. Tat madarpanam, arpanam. Arpanam means offering. Like in puja says samarpayami, say Lord, samarpayami. So this what happened in dhatu is ru, gatiprapana, means to go or to reach. Like Brahmanirvanam richati, right? Home is to reach home. English word reach comes from this dhatu. Richati is to reach home. Richati to reach. So, but now what happens is that when you look at when you make it hetumati, nich, we just saw that hetu, means to make something reach. Means to offer. To make something reach. To make something go. So then we get the nich pratyaya, chutu halantyam, and we get the pukagamaha. Here also Panini specifically mentions this dhatu in that sutram 7.336, which is arti. That's arti. This is dhatu ru. Arti ri vli ri knu yi kshmayatam pungnau. This sutram is famous for dhatu ending in akara. Ratham sthapayamechyuta. Ratham sthapayamechyuta. But also not only any dhatu in akaraha, akarantanam dhatu nam, anganam in this case, angasyadhikaraha, but also these specific dhatu like repayati, you make somebody feel shamed, to be abashed. So arti ri vli ri knu yi kshmayatam, knu yi smaya. So arti is in that list. We got the puk agamaha. So becomes rup e. And then puganta, this is reason which we have puganta lagupatasya, pugantam. So we get the uran gunadeshaha, uran raparaha, sanadyanta dhatavaha, so gets the dhatu sanya. So arpi is a new dhatu. Arpi is a new dhatu. And then of course we do the vidiling, then adabunda lopa la tiptajji itascha sutram, because this is a nit lakaraha. And then we get the yasut prasnipadeshu dhatu nitya yasut agamaha. And then in the meanwhile halantyam, the ukara of yasut ucharanartham. So then after kartari shap sarvadhatu kartakayoho gunadeshaha echo yavayavaha arpaya. Then we get ato ye yaha, become yas becomes iya, then lopo vyor vali, and adgunaha arpayet. Once you form arpi, like chorayet, arpayet, nothing. So the thing is how to form arpi. So one more time, is to make something reach, is to offer. And puk agamaha arti rivli sutram puk agamaha. So arpayet, so no arpayet. One should not make, means one should not offer oneself. One should not offer oneself. One should not give up oneself to grief or to excitement, to joy, like offering oneself to enemies. And how does one do that? One who is happy should look at one who's sorry, should look at those who are even more sorry, and one who is happy should look at those who are more happy than he is. The second part is this from the English to Sanskritam. Let's see if we can do a couple of these. Okay, men whose minds are pure.
Satish,
Yes, sir.
that Chaturthi Sampradaya?
Chaturthi Sampradani, yes. Now, yes, Arpayet, yes, correct. Chaturthi Sampradani, of course. Like this, Sampradani means to give, to offer. Yes, Chaturthi Sampradani, correct. So, what Kalpesh is saying. What's that?
Just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, but what else can it be, right? It is probably has to be. It is Chaturthi Sampradani. Because in the Karaka Adhikaraha, Sampradam is defined as Karmana Yam Abhiprayati. So, Karmana Yam Abhiprayati Tasa Sampradanam is the intent of. So, but there's some controversy on this sutram. Basically, when you do for the sake of somebody else, for the purpose of the sake of, so unto English unto. So very simply for this class right now, unto. That's called sampradhanam. So offering unto, doing unto. And this is mainly used for dhatu da, it can also be extended for that. So giving, so basically in the sense of giving, offering. So then we get Chaturthi Sampradane. So this defines Sampradanam. And then in 2.3, said to you many times, any Vibhakti Vidhanam has to be in 2.3. Chaturthi Sampradane. So 2.3.13. 2.3.13 Chaturthi Sampradane. Yes. Okay. So good time calculation in the class. Men whose minds are pure never waver in doing their duty. This is what I have from Shuddham Manaha Yesham Te. One whose minds are, you can say Shuddhani Manansi Yesham Te, but just Ekavachanam Jato Ekavachanam, or you can say Shuddham Mano Yasya Saha. And then, so very straightforward Bahuvri compound, Anekamanya Padarthe. Then the Visheshanam takes the Purnipataha, Saptami Visheshana Bahuvrihav. So, Shuddha Manasaha is Prathama Bahuvachanam. Shuddha Manaso Janaha. Swe or Swasmin Kartavye. Or Kartavyasya Karane. In doing their duty. Na Kadapi Samsherate. He is given in the vocabulary. He has given in the Shabda Sangraha. He has given the word, I think, normally we should doubt. I think also given the word to waver. Some brew or some she might be next page maybe. Some Shankar doubt. I thought he had it somewhere here. Shabdaha, Shankaha. To waver.
140 there is some.
140
there is some.
Okay, yes, must be here. I'm going too fast. I should not waver, right? Here it is, samshi, to waver, to doubt. Okay, yeah, correct. So waver is here. So here we have. So what I have in here is a Shuddhamana Sojana, Swe or Sasmin Kartavye. Yes, Anuji has a question. Yes, Anuji.
Anuji? In the vocabulary, dolaya is given in the vocabulary.
Oh.
In the back.
Oh, in the back. So that's for Namadhatu, right?
Yeah.
Was it? So dolayate. So how do you make it then? Dolayate, right? So let's see.
Dolayante. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dola Yante then. Correct. Let's see what Apteji gives. Yes, you can use that also. Let me just bring Apteji here. Dola Yante. Dola Yaman. Correct. Dola. But anyway, since it's given in this lesson, it's given Samshi, I use that. Samshi is a root agamaha, by the way. By I'm looking this up. What sutram here for Yuta? Rutagama Anuji.
Yeah, Shingo
root. Shingo. Where does that come?
This is it 7. It must be near Jonta somewhere.
Very good. Under that, right? Under that. So Dolayate. So this is a Namadhatu. Okay. So the Dolayante we can also as a Namadhatu. Dolayante. So we can use that. Samshirate. So Samshirate is Bhavachanam. Atmadepade Shvanataha. So it's Atmanipadam is there. And Dhatu is she. What is the Gunadesha Sutram for that? What do you think, Anuji?
Yeah.
Where would that be? Shingo.
Root.
Shingo root. So Dola Yante.
Yeah, root.
What about for the Gunadesha? That's also to be Shinga Sarvadhatuke Gunaha. Where would that be? I think that is 7.420, I think. That was difficult to find. So, Durlabha. Because that is in like a one-off sutram. So, 21. Shinga Sarvadhatuke Gunaha. So the root, so this, I've not put all the steps here because we've done this in daily examples. So the Gunadeshaha, so this is Adadi Ganaha, Adipapritubhya Shapaha Shapluk, then she becomes she, because otherwise you could not apply the Sarvadhatu Karsdaka Yoho because this Pratya ja pratyaya is sarvadhatukam upit nitvat. It cannot do any gunadesha, but by shinga sarvadhatuke gunaha, by 7420, get the gunadesha, and then by the sutram shingo rut, which is follows the, that will be what sutram? I think 716. 716, and 715 is Atmanipadesh. We need both of them right now. Atmanipadesh vanataha. Get the atta adesha for ja. So 715, 716. 715, 716. Again, if you want to practice, you can go to the daily examples. Samsherate, dolayante. So Shuddhamanaso janaha. Sway, what's the for this, Tanuji? Sway or Sasmin, what do you think? Comes in Gita. Sway karmanya bhirataha samsiddhin labhate naraha. So karma, where could this be? We look for the sutram which does the sminna adesha, right? So smat sminau. Under that comes purvadibhyo navabhyo va. These 9 Svanama Shabda with purvadi. They will take, so we can get the, optionally get the smat and smin. So for smat will be optional, it can be swat. So smat sminau. There will be optional purvadibhyo navabhyo va. 7116. So you can make it ebhya nyasinyoho smat sminau vastaha. So here in that we get, should be here purvasma, swasmin and sway, swasmat and say, comes in Gita. So when you chant the Gita, sway karmanya bhrataha samsiddhin labhate naraha, chapter 18, remember this sutram, purvadibhyo navabhyo va. Again, these are not topics for this lesson, but anyway, putting them here just for 7116. So Shuddhamanaso janaha swe asva swasmin kartavye atva kartavyasya karane na kadapi samshirate dolayante. They don't waver in their duty, or in doing their duty. Okay, the next one is here. What do you have, Anuji, for the next one? You want to try this one? Our teacher, a man of great scholarship, so one whose scholarship is great, has explained to us the story of Rama and Sita. So, Rama and Sita also. So this is what I have. I have Mahavyutpattihi. Is that what you have?
Panditaha.
But Vyutpatti has, what he given, the vocabulary has been given, in the vocabulary. He has given here somewhere. Vyutpattihi. I saw it somewhere. Vyutpattihi. Here. Of scholarships, Vyutpattihi. So I put Mahavyutpattihi. So Mahati Vyutpattir Yasya Saha. Then this Mahati gets the Pumad Bhavaha.
What about An Mahataha?
We're going to give that, but, right? Yeah, but for that we need the Mahat. So Mahati will first get Pumad Bhava. Make it Mahat first. Actually, you know what? Mahat. No. Yes, correct. Because Mahati Vyutpatti is correct. Because this is a Striyaha Pumvad. Bhashita Pumskada Nung. So we have Vyutpatti is Silinga Padipadikam. So, but we have Mahati adjective to that. That gets Pumvad Bhava become Mahat. And then we can get the An Mahataha. Samadhanikarana Jatiya Yoho. With 6346. And by Alontyasya becomes Maha A. Then Akasami Dirgaha. So first we get Pumvad Bhava, make Mahati into Mahat, and then get the An Mahataha. Samadhikarana Jatiya Yoho. Then Akasami Dirgaha. So Mahavyutpattihi Asmad Guruho. Straight for Asmakam Guru, Asmad Guru, Shashti Samasaha. Asmabhyam.
We can say Asmakam Guru.
We can say Asmakam, but unto us, right? Tanme comes in Gita, Tanme Bhusunishchitam, unto us. So that when you do karma kadhatu like that Gauna Karmaha will take Chaturthi. So Asmabhyam Naha I put Of course, obviously Shashti Shesha also we can try, but I think Chaturthi is good. Sita Ramayoho Katham Vyakhyat or Vyakarot. What verb did you use, Anuji? What verb did you use? Explained.
Same. Vyakyat.
Vyakhyat, right? So this is
Yeah,
the Adadiganaha, Adipravitibhya, Shapluk, Itascha, Vyakarot, similarly. Vyakru, like Vyakaranam, right? To explain. So Vyakarot. Adagama is each here because we have the Ang Pusarga, so Vyakarot. So Karot, Vyakarot. Akhyat, Vyakhyat. So both are Lang, Utapurushe, Ekavachanam. Now one thing to remember is that it didn't become Madguruho. It didn't become Madguruho. Because the Sutram, which is the Pratyuttarapadayoscha, which is that this Yushmad and Asmad becomes Twa and Ma, but that's only when it's Ekavachane, Tamav Ekavachane. It is our, because it didn't become Madguru. So because it's our teacher, so it's not singular, so Asmad. So the 7298 did not apply over here. We can put it here, maybe no 7298. Okay, so Ashashti Samasaha. So Mahavyutpattihi Asmad Guruho Asmabhyam Naha Rama Sita Ramayoho. Again, Sita Rama we discussed many times that this is the Abhyarhitancha. Women always ladies first. So Sita Ramayoho. Even though Ramaha is, Lagu Aksharam, everything, Adantam, everything in his favor, but ladies first, so Abhyarhitancha. I'm talking about Purnipataha. Purnipataha by this set of rules, because Dvandvaha, everybody has Sanya because of Anekam. But then we get under Alpashtaram, nothing is a Vartikam, Abhyaritancha. So Sita Ramayoho Katham Vyakya. So Mahavyutpattir Rasmad Gurur Naha Sita Ramayoho Katham Vyakyat Vyakarot. Okay, last one. Let's see. That's Anuji, last one for today. Many persons of scanty means, whose means were scanty, have lived and died with joy and courage. So how will make it? So I said Bahavaha Alpasadhanaha Janaha Sukhena Ajivan. So they lived happily. Dhairyena cha mritaha, died with courage. So Alpam Sadhanam Yeshante, Alpani Sadhanani Yeshante. So those whose means are scanty. Alpasadhanaha, nothing very special. Visheshanam goes first. So Bahavaha, so Bhavo Alpasadhana Janaha, Sukhena Jivan, Dhairyena cha mritaha. So they lived with happiness. And so, Jivan is straightforward form, like, Abhavan, Ajivan. Of course, because here the Ikara is not Laghu, didn't take the Guna, it's Dirgha, no Guna Deshaha. So, Sukhena Jivan, Dhairyena cha mritaha. And only compound is Alpasadhana, Alpamasadhanam Yeshanti. Let's stop with that. Now, next lesson, what we will do is that, next time we'll of course finish the homework first, remaining 7. And then we'll go on to the next lesson. We're going to look at a few more of these Upapada Samasas. Then we're going to look at some Krit Pratyayas and Tadita also. This is going to be a little bit of a condensed lesson because he's taken a lot of subject matter and put it into one lesson. We'll take whatever we can. So look at Sutra number 324 and then look at 31136 also for homework next time. So 324, 31136. Then after that, look at 3297 to 101, 3297 up to 32101, 3248. Look at 33108, 3261, 76, 87. This is all for the Krit Pratyaya. Then I think also 32177 to 179. And of course 6171. Okay, that's enough for today. Stop with that. Thank you, Anuji. Thank you, Kalpesh Nagarajis. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhita Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha रामान् नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने श्री राम नाम वरानन उन्दमे।